Hello folks, it appears that we are live, I think. Got a couple tunes lined up for today to do a little improvisation on Solar, and perhaps we'll do a little bit of Nika's Dream, and planning to give some real actionable tips for folks to take away and have something good to practice with. Right? So we'll start with a little bit of playing, and drop me a comment or a question, and I'd love to hear from you. Or just say a quick hello. And yeah, let's do a little playing on Solar by Miles Davis. So as I was getting ready today for this talk, I was thinking, we have these tensions and we have these kind of release tones, and when we play, one aspect of improvisation is to have some control over those things. So early on in the solo that I just did, I was working at playing the tensions on the beats, or the numbered beats, and then playing some of the consonants of the chord a little bit later on. And then of course we could do the opposite of that, and also just strictly outline some of the chords. So it's kind of like just a general control of consonants and dissonance that really helps to make a solo guide the listener a little bit through the changes, so you know kind of what you're doing, all that. So okay, hello Ephraim, welcome. Give you a guitar please, can't afford. Okay. Well, if you have any budget at all, try to look on, used listings, maybe Marketplace, or try some different shops. You can get really good value for money. I bought this guitar used, so. So yeah, that's the thought there. But yeah, the instruments are kind of expensive. But let's talk a little bit about some of these tensions and things. So if we're on this chord, so C minor 6, or C minor major 7. Major 7 has a little more tension in it. If I play a D on that, it's gonna be a little tense, right? So you got, right? And then the chord tone is kind of sitting right next to it. So that's one thing I was doing on quite a few of the various chords in there, was to play a 9 or maybe an 11 on some of those, so to create a little bit of tension and get into some resolution, right? So playing, maybe a diatonic note or a note that fits the chord, just a step below or a step above, to create a little outline. And kind of the opposite of that would be to, play, more on the beat with some of the consonances. So we'll slow this down a little bit and kind of give you an idea what to, listen for and think about on that. So I don't know if this will sound so much like a solo, but hopefully give you some of the ideas of what I'm doing. Okay, so just as a quick demonstration is there is a little bit of tension and then a little bit of release on it. You can do so many different things with this. You can end phrases on tensions and then end phrases on resolutions. You can do all that. You can play, kind of note by note, tension, resolution, tension, resolution, flip it over, all those kinds of things. So, very helpful to kind of work in those terms. And then, of course, knowing the progression, kind of where things are leading, and all that. I was playing a gig last night with a big band that I work with regularly, and as I was playing, I was kind of thinking, maybe not thinking so much as I'm playing, but kind of considering between tunes, what is my perception of this, and how can I keep that in the back of my mind for my teaching efforts here on YouTube and my website. And one thing I just kind of noticing is it's progression, right? It's like you're going through, and this harmony just moves around, and you're just kind of in the current of that. And whether you're taking a solo or maybe even comping, you're kind of hearing all of this going on, and as I'm playing, let's say chords, and in this context, there's a lot of horns playing various, oftentimes like extensions. So I'm hearing, okay, they're that horn section is kind of on the flat 9 maybe, and these kind of change over time, so maybe a sharp 9 or something like that. So kind of finding ourselves in the midst of consonance and dissonance and progression. So some things I've kind of considered for our talk today. All right, Jeffrey, welcome. How's it going? One of my students is playing open mic here this afternoon in our town. Plan to go out and check him out. It's always kind of good to see folks make that step into playing. Have one student from YouTube who made a trip out here. Doesn't live so far away, maybe a few hours though, but made the trip and played here in the studio. I hired a couple of musicians and got the sense of playing with others and in a group. He did really great, and now he's off doing all these jam sessions and things, and I think even playing some gigs now. So always really kind of cool to see, and that's one thing about practicing and doing some things is when you're, let's say, performing at a jam session or at a gig, you have to do something. You have to come up with something, and you have to kind of keep it going. So if you can simulate that, if you're not out doing those kinds of things, if some of the viewers out here can, kind of pretend, put on iReal Pro or Band in a Box and just kind of do it, say, I'm going to do 3 choruses on this tune. I'm just not going to stop, and then as you go through that, you can collect a bunch of information about, oh, okay, I know this chord real well, or maybe I don't know this chord as well, or maybe I'm not real strong in this change, and then you can go in and just hone in on that and practice. So some thoughts there. Let's see, do a little more playing, and yeah, we're just listening kind of for tension and resolution here. So I'm going to bump up our tempo a little bit. Okay, so there I'm, kind of trying to demonstrate a little bit of, playing some notes that are not in key, but are a little, offering us a little bit of tension as we play. So, few, little kind of things there that we can do. So, maybe we'll transition a little over to Nika's Dream. Maybe we'll talk a little bit about the recent recordings and stuff like that on this tune that I did recently. So a couple of weeks ago, or maybe just a week or so ago, released a chord melody on Nika's Dream, and then this last Saturday I released a just melody only, where I laid down some guitar tracks ahead of time for the background. So it has these really interesting, nice lines that go along with it and harmonize through it. So I took some of the horn parts and applied that. So I wanted to put together a melody only as well as a chord melody, and maybe I'll do that on some other tunes in the future as well. Okay, so Nika's Dream. Let's talk a little bit about this one. How to kind of break it down. You know, some quick things that you can do on this tune. So we have this minor major 7 sound. One thing that you can really work at doing is to play what's called the minor 6 pentatonic. And I was checking out some of Horace Silver's solo on it, and you can hear him really use this G on the minor major 7. So this scale incorporates that pretty nicely. Notice that if you played B flat minor pentatonic, we have a little bit of a conflict here, a little bit outside on that. So we could play what's called the minor 6 pentatonic. Right. And this is really great because you can use it for actually outlining 2/5 really effectively. And later on in the tune, we actually do that. We have the A flat minor 7, where you could, you know, pull from an A flat minor pentatonic, and then you could do the minor 6 pentatonic over the D flat 9. So that's a real nice effective way of getting at some voice leading, right? And you might even hear me doing some of that on my midweek video that I did, where I played an improvisation on the tune, and I believe I do a little bit of that kind of voice leading on that. So outlining those 2/5s, and those will really carry you quite a ways, really. All right, so maybe I'll even just play a little segment of this. Let me know kind of what you think about some of these. Would it be more helpful if I play a little section and gave kind of a nice solid tip on that, or is it more helpful to hear the tune as a whole? Know what your thoughts are on that. But let me give you an idea of playing the minor 6. I wonder if I could get a little loop going maybe on that. I'll try that approach here. If I can find the little looper thingy. Maybe not. Well, let's figure that out for next time. Yeah, let's play a little bit on this tune here, and maybe we'll go a little bit slow and give you a little idea, and maybe I'll just pause after a little bit. Okay, so what do we think about the minor 6 pentatonic? You know, the 6 is gonna have a little tension to it, so it's not gonna be completely consonant, but you know, maybe that gives us maybe a little bit of an idea of it. And then what I'm doing there is I'm just moving it down, so. So we can use that to help us move through the changes a little bit. So a couple other little things. I talked about voice leading a little bit earlier. Thirds and sevenths work really nice. You know, I mentioned last night playing out, and you know, this is great for both melodic playing and chordal playing. So when I play with a big band, I play a lot of chords, I would say the majority of the time. And then I've got a few solos and a few kind of featured parts, but a lot of it is playing chords, and sometimes you're just playing, freely or interacting, and then sometimes you have specific hits that you're supposed to do with the rest of the band. But kind of back to the voicings, oftentimes if we're let's take Nika's Dream as an example. If you've got a good handle on the threes and the sevens, you could really get the tune across, and oftentimes in that, at least that big band setting, there's so much going on that oftentimes that's just really enough. But like I said earlier, I'll be listening to different extensions and in the horns, and I might kind of include those. And part of that is just listening by ear, but there's a lot of, as we get more experience with music, there are a lot of things that you're going to expect to hear as well, or things that you recognize that you've heard before. So it's not really necessarily, at least in my case, crunching a bunch of theory or anything. It's just kind of like you've heard certain harmonic things come up again and again, and you've recognized certain sounds, and so there are elements like that. But let me give you a little idea of outlining some of the harmony on this. There are a bunch of different variations on the chord progression, so let me just I think I wrote this one out actually, so it should be what I expect. But let me give you a little idea of voice leading kind of things here. So playing a lot of really just thirds of each chord, maybe some sevenths in there as well. But it's this kind of guide tone kind of thing. So let's see if we take some of that basic outline and improvise some other notes, but we're really kind of thinking, about outlining the changes through these kind of guide tone sort of things. So we're working with the harmony. The harmony is just we're just kind of caught in the current of the harmony, so to speak, and then we are, choosing some tunes kind of based on the consonants, like I said, and then improvising, melodies around it, and kind of weaving our way around the harmony there. So. Let's see if we can add some of those tensions like we did with the solar tune. And that's, real enjoyable part, I think, of improvising and coming up with things is just kind of using the color and the sound, the tensions mixed in with the consonants, because it can get a little bit tiresome to, simply play, arpeggios all the time. Right, so you gotta maybe mix in some other colors, some nines and things like that. Okay, so yeah, this tune I have taken from. This is an export. Actually, all these are from at least today, like kind of what I'm doing today. From the iReal Pro, so I'm using the bass and the piano, and then I'm using some drum loops from Superior Drummer. Let me know if you have any particular questions or kind of struggles. It's one thing I've been considering as I'm trying to improve my my channel, improve my ability to, kind of work in this education role. Having played for a long time, I'm a little like kind of disconnected, maybe a little with some of the things that folks are kind of going through, but of course I went through them as well. But it's kind of in the distant past. I remember as a teenager, family made just a trip. It may even been just a day trip up to New York, and I was checking out some of these vendors. And there was one that had this, like music -1 or something like that. I don't remember if it was a CD or a cassette or what, but I remember like kind of reading the cover and like thinking about 13s and all this. I'm like, am I ever really gonna like figure out what this is all about? So it's kind of a hard thing, but it gets much easier, and I'm sure folks that are watching are at all sorts of different levels. I mean, some folks may be doing all this with ease already. I don't know, but it is kind of a lifelong thing, but it does get a lot easier to kind of work from, and it's not really incredibly complicated as it seems at first, I think. But let me know your thoughts on that as well. But if you can kind of divide things up a little bit, like I said, on some of the shell voicing type things, just kind of getting the essentials of the chords. You may kind of grow from there, like what's this in between note and how does it sound. All right, I'll mention today that I am streaming on a bunch of different platforms, which I've been doing on Sundays. I'm on Substack, so pretty recently I've been developing my Substack presence. So check me out there, study.fretprince.com. Then Facebook, I've been streaming there for quite a while. I'm not super active on Facebook, but if you are, send me a message, messenger, or write me a comment. Love to hear from you. Also, my my podcast. My podcast host has a live stream, which I messed around with a little a little while ago, and so I'm streaming live today on my podcast. I hope that's going well. It looks like all the audio is coming through, and of course, kind of my main home is YouTube. So check me out there as well. All right, well, yeah, let's do maybe a little playing on Nico's Dream here. Maybe I'll go a little slow and play a couple things. Hope you get a sense for the tensions and resolutions on this tune as we go through. Why don't we just kind of outline changes a little bit? You could think about this first section a lot like a minor blues, really, where we go to get a little 2/5 two times through, and to the flat 6, a little motion over to the 5 chord, and maybe put a 2 in front of it. And then back to minor with kind of like a little bit of a different flavor. So when I'm playing through this, I'm kind of think of this as more just like a little movement, but really just kind of all like one chord, and then get a little motion over to the flat 6. So this is a good way to think of it, just kind of zoom out a little bit. Flat 6 and then 5, and then back to the 1. So if you know minor blues, even though it's not 12 bars, it's 16, you could use some of maybe your knowledge of the 12-bar blues in minor to work with this progression. The bridge, we're in the key of 5 flats. So the bridge is kind of tending to go to the relative major. And this is another thing I'd really strongly recommend emphasizing, is just knowing your minor and major keys, key signatures, if you don't already. So got a 5, all right, and then like I said earlier, probably a good bit of variations on this, but 1 and kind of a 2/5 of the 2 chord, which goes dominant. 5, so 5 of 5 to the 5 and to the 1, and you just get this little lift. Really delightful, for the ear. This change you can really work with E flat minor 7, maybe put a little flat 9 as you get closer to the D flat, then a little 2/5 to the 5 of the 5, to the 1, and then 2/5 back to that minor segment. So oftentimes a lot of times I get questions about what am I thinking about. So oftentimes it's just kind of like A is minor and the B section is major. And then obviously there are more specific things like what I talked about. But like I said, the more tunes you do, the more like a lot of these patterns just keep coming up again and again. That's why on my website I'm really encouraging learning through tunes and doing more and more tunes. There's a lot in common between them. All right, so we kind of listen for a little bit of that. The form is A, B, A, and it's probably going to put that interlude. So maybe I'll just do one chorus on this. And, hopefully get a sense for kind of what I just walked through. So just listen for minor 2 times, major 1 time, and back to minor. And I'm gonna keep it not too fast here. All right, so yeah, just kind of working through those changes. A lot of it comes down to, you know, awareness of some of those tones. Like I said, guide tones, you know, it could be a whole variety of different types of things. I remember when I was arranging for 7-piece groups, I would either, you know, transcribe or write original pieces for these student groups at a school where I worked. And I remember, you know, early on when I was, you know, trying to do this, I thought, oh, you know, this kind of works, this kind of works. So oftentimes I would end up using in the horns, well, it's kind of similar to what I'm talking about with my experience just playing with them, is that kind of have them on some of those extensions, the 9s and the 11s and things, and then have the rhythm section, you know, sitting more on some of the just shell voicing type things. And so, like I said, just knowing how to guide the listener through the progression is really pretty helpful. So, all right, folks. Well, I hope you have enjoyed this talk today. So I'm working on developing more effective teaching methods and things. So let me know how I'm doing with that, and let me know if anything I'm trying to get across today is kind of resonating with you, or if it's maybe if some things are confusing and not effective. I'd love to hear from you. So yeah, leave me a comment down in the video if you're rewatching, or if you're checking this out live today. Drop me a chat. So hope everybody's doing well. Let's see, anything else we want to maybe play on today? One thing I would like to do, I'm not sure if I'm set up with it now, but take some requests on improvising on some tunes, and I think I could probably do that fairly quickly now that I'm just a little bit practiced at it. But using some of these iReal backing tracks kind of gives a quick and easy way to get the tune across. All right, so if you haven't already, please like and subscribe. We have a new series out. I'm kind of developing it. It's our kind of midweek improvisation/talk. So if there's anything you'd like to hear about on that, let me know. I'm kind of doing a little improv, like a chorus or maybe a chorus or two, and then talking about some things that I'm doing or talking about current things going on in music and stuff. So let me know what you think there. And join our email newsletter. I'm putting out some free lessons that go to your inbox. You can check that out on my Substack. You can subscribe right there. It's nice and easy. But I think I also have a link down in the description on most of these platforms to join my my other mailing list as well. So again, I hope you enjoyed this. Maybe we'll do maybe a little more playing on Solar here. It's a fun tune to play on. Again, kind of talking about tension release today and knowing your chord tones, knowing progressions, kind of venturing out into some of those tones that are not part of the chord, but nice colors on them, kind of diatonic sort of things, and then kind of guide tones and stuff. All right, folks. Well, thanks so much for listening today. Thanks so much for watching. Hopefully all the audio came through pretty okay. And should be back next week at the same time if all goes to plan. So join me there, and keep an eye out for my midweek video. I haven't really decided what tune I'm going to improvise on, but who knows, maybe Solar. I do have a melody video that I put out a ways back, so if you're looking for melody videos that are nice, good, solid references, check out my playlist on Learn Tunes, and that is one of my big features on the channel. Jeffrey says audio is good. Okay, cool. Glad to hear it. So, to create, and this is one thing that I struggled with as I was, did a lot of transcribing and different stuff. I think I mentioned this on the channel before, but I would listen to a bunch of different versions of the same song, and always kind of wondered, like, where is that bass line? I don't mean like the instrument bass line or the line of a bass, but where is that reference that is just the tune? So what I really try to do on these melody videos is give a nice solid reference point, and folks can take that, learn it, and then move it into interpreting it, in their own direction, stuff like that. So check that out. I do plan to create a playlist on my new improv series. I haven't done that quite yet, but yeah, check out my channel page, and you'll see some of these things. All right, folks. Thanks again. Hope you enjoyed this, and I will see you all next time.